Round up the best beef in France. Say hello to the Papa of Nouvelle Cuisine. Stroll with royalty in a chateau garden as Pierre soaks up Beaujolais, this time on Pierre Franey's Cooking in France.
Pierre Franey's Cooking in France is made possible by the Grand Marnier Foundation, proud to support public television, and by Carillon Importers Limited, importing beverages in the spirit of quality.
South of Burgundy's treasured vineyards, the countryside levels into lush green pastures, perfect grazing land. The huge muscular cattle bred here produce France's finest beef. This is the French equivalent of the American Midwest. It's known as the Charolais, a sparsely populated place of brooding beauty and clean, fresh air. But it's still Burgundy, southern Burgundy, and nearby, grapes flourish in vast sun-drenched fields that produce world-famous Beaujolais wine. Beaujolais country comprises the northern part of the Rhône-Alpes region. It begins just above France's second city, Lyon, along the main route from Paris, stretching from the rugged alpine highlands in the east to the gentle rolling hills nourished by the Saône and Loire rivers. Mâcon is the largest city, and nearby are the small villages of Charolles and Saint-Christophe. And it was in Saint-Christophe, early in a hard driving rain, that Pierre began his big beef adventure. Saint-Christophe is home to one of France's largest and most colorful cattle markets. For the last 500 years, every Thursday morning starting at 5, cattlemen unload their huge animals into holding pens. Every year, more than 100,000 head of cattle pass through this village of 600 inhabitants. As the intermittent bursts of rain overflowed the gutters in the main exhibition hall, Pierre joined local cattleman Philippe Pacaud for an inspection. Listening to the din of all those cows mooing and watching the scene, Pierre couldn't help but be overwhelmed by the giant assembly of hoofs. The largest beasts, breast drooping with weight, tipped the scales at almost 2,000 pounds. Philippe explained to Pierre how buyers check the quality of the cattle. A knowing probe behind the buttocks is the key test to determine how tender the meat from that animal will be. By the time negotiations wrap up at around 9, the cattlemen have worked up a terrific appetite. In one of the many bistros surrounding the market, locals were already packing away the hearty food and washing it down with generous helpings of red wine. Madame Dumont, the owner and chef for the past 25 years, suggested a couple of traditional specialties. Pierre started with a heaping plate of pot-au-feu, boiled beef. And then, because he couldn't resist, he had a second main course of tête de veau, veal's head. Although Pierre could have kept on eating this type of food all day, he was expected back at Philippe's farm. There, taking shelter in an abandoned 14th century chateau, Pierre met up with a legend as big as the Charolais themselves, Pierre Trois-Gros. Trois-Gros is one of France's gastronomic giants, and as the two waited for the weather to clear, they caught up on old times. Once the rain lightened, Philippe rounded up his beefy posse of Frenchmen for a tour. Completing the group was old friend Marc Sarrazin, a local boy who emigrated to New York and now supplies beef to the city's finest restaurants. Sarrazin explained that nowadays Americans lean toward leaner beef. Philippe proudly pointed out that his Charolais are big, lean, athletic cattle with lightly marbled meat, and that he breeds them in the most natural way.
Do you use artificial insemination for your cow?
No, on my farm we only use bull on the middle of the cow.
So the bull are busy here?
Yes, very busy. Natural condition.
How many bulls you got?
I have 5 bulls on my farm.
And how many cows?
70 cows.
Well,
it's an average farm.
No wonder they look happy, your bulls.
Next, the two Pierres headed to Roanne, an industrial city of 41,000 about an hour west of Lyon. Though it's located on the banks of the Loire River, Roanne is certainly no tourist destination. Instead of medieval monuments or soaring vistas, it's known for producing tires and underwear, and one of France's great restaurants. The most notable statue in town, by the sculptor Armand, celebrates Roanne's main attraction, Restaurant Trois Gros and its legacy of grand dining. Restaurant Trois Gros stands on a busy roundabout right across from the train station, a reminder of its beginnings in the 1950s as a working-class family bistro. Since its humble start, the restaurant's decor has gone upscale, though without losing its generous, good-natured atmosphere. In the dining room, Pierre Trois Gros stands with his tall toque like a king receiving his court. And what a kingdom! His restaurant is one of only 20 in France to win 3 stars from the gastronomic Bible, the Michelin Guide. In the kitchen, the chef showed off some of the new Trois Gros creations. A seafood salad doused with a vichyssoise sauce, a terrine of tête de veau wrapped in a tomato confit, langoustine crowned with slivers of raw vegetables, and a snapper-like fish called rouget, served with marrow and a red wine sauce. But if one recipe sums up the Trois Gros cooking philosophy and its influence on the Nouvelle Cuisine movement, it's a salmon recipe, which Michel, the next generation of Trois Gros chefs, demonstrated to Pierre.
Very nice. So what are you going to do for us here?
I'm going to prepare a very traditional Trois Gros dish, which is the saumon à l'oseille.
Oh, the salmon in sorrel sauce.
Yes, it's a dish born in 1960 because my father has too much sorrel in the garden and he doesn't know what to do with it, you know. The staff has omelette with sorrel, have soup with sorrel, so one day you have the idea to make a sauce with sorrel.
So they decided to do this. I remember when your uncle, Jean, came to New York, he did that many years ago, and there was a recipe in the New York Times. And I'm glad to be here because I like that recipe so much that the new American, the young American, they don't know how to do it. Show me how to do it.
So I need a fresh salmon. My preferred is the
boneless
Scottish.
and skinless, right?
Yeah, Scottish salmon. I cut escalope, you know, which is a thin slice. Yeah, like this.
Oh, that's about
so you have two
almost
beautiful
half an inch thick.
escalope.
And you pound a little bit.
Voilà.
Very little.
Tu peux taper comme ça.
Yeah.
Pour bien les égaliser.
Yeah, it's got
la
to be
cuisson.
nice and flat. Yes. Okay, compris.
Ok. J'assaisonne de sel et de poivre.
On one side only, freshly grated white pepper, a little bit of salt.
Voilà. Je vais gonna prepare my sauce. So for the sauce, mushroom, champignon de Paris. So it's 1 cup.
Sliced very thin.
Shallots.
Shallots, about a quarter cup. Sliced very thin again.
Alors là, du Sauvignon, dry white wine.
Dry white wine, Sauvignon, very dry.
Alors là, c'est carrément
C'est
la
sincère.
demi-cup. Hein.
That's
La
half a
demi-cup,
cup.
voilà. Et un dry white vermouth.
Yes.
D'accord. Là, la moitié, alors c'est quarter. Hein.
It's a quarter cup, yeah, that's right.
Voilà. Et ceci est le fish stock.
Yes.
Alors là, c'est...
It's about 3/4 cup of fish broth.
Voilà. Donc maintenant, nous allons procéder à la cuisson.
Now you're going to cook it, put it on top of the stove. Michel, the sauce is almost reduced, right?
It's ready.
It's ready, good.
Ready to put the cream inside.
So you got 3/4 cup of heavy cream here.
Voilà. So just boiling.
You bring that to a boil.
Yeah.
The cream in France got body to it, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very good.
So now when it's boiling, we pass it through chinois.
You pass it through a Chinese cap.
Chinese, hein?
You bring it to a gold,
Voilà.
you bring that to a gold rolling bowl.
Voilà. Okay.
Push it through a sieve, huh? Just to take all the cream out, okay?
Yeah. All the taste is in the shallots and the
So you
and the
push-
mushroom here. So it's good to push it to have the
Push
taste.
it through,
Yeah.
Put pressure on it. When all
like
the
this,
goodie of
yeah.
the shallots come through.
On remet ça sur le feu.
So you bring that back to a boil.
Ce que tu fais, tu vas poivrer pendant que je sale, moi.
You stop me, okay? Enough?
Ah oui, voilà, c'est bien. Et maintenant, on va jeter l'oseille comme ça dedans, juste la casser comme ça, just like this inside.
All right.
And don't use any more the whisk, just now with the spoon. Like this, you don't break the leaves.
Yeah, right.
Okay?
Stir it with a spoon. You don't want to break the leaves. I understand.
And can you see that the
Until
sour?
wilted.
Yeah. Just the contact of the hot
Yeah.
sauce cook it.
You barely cook it.
Voilà. Et l'oseille, tu vois, simplement au contact de la chaleur,
Oui.
commence déjà à tomber.
Until
et
it
c'est
get
prêt.
wilted. You don't want to overcook it. You taste it.
Et voilà, la sauce est prête.
That's done. The
Voilà.
sauce is done. So now you have to cook the fish.
Yeah, we're gonna start the cuisson of the fish in a hot pan like this.
And where's the butter?
Oh, we don't put butter because the salmon is fat.
We got a good pan here. No stick to kill it.
But hot, you
It's
know.
very hot,
Okay, so start.
Cook it very.
Can you hear the cuisson already?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the cuisson of the salmon is very short because we better cook it rare, you know.
Yeah. You want it rare in the sun.
So
Warm and red.
so about 20 seconds on each side
On each
will
side,
be
yeah.
enough to have the right cuisson.
Very good. You don't want it overcooked. When was this recipe started?
My father and my uncle started in around 1960 because they have too much sorrel in the garden. And because the salmon, I mean, the idea of that dish is to cut the salmon in scallops and
Yes.
leave it rare, you know, because the salmon, when it's rare, I think the taste is very nice and it's not dry.
If I remember correctly, your father and your uncle, they were the first one to cook salmon that way.
Yeah, well, yeah, they were the first one.
Yeah.
It's why your so simple dish make a revolution.
Absolutely, but this is very simple, but it's great because I remember many years ago, I tasted it, but I want to test your recipe, your style, same style, I know.
You know that this recipe doesn't change since 30 years now, and I think it's like you, it doesn't take one holder, it doesn't become holder.
No, the technique is good. The technique
So
is
now,
very important.
yeah, it's ready. Just
Ready?
the hot sauce on the plate, and the scallops were right in the middle.
Very good, it's beautiful. Very
So
nice.
maybe, yeah, we're gonna taste it now.
All right, very nice. Hola, look.
Le
Look
cuisson est
just
formidable.
right. The cooking is very nice, you see. It's not overcooked, not dry. The flavor of the sorrel
Yeah.
and everything binding together with the cream. Of course, you have a very good product here.
The sorrel is very important.
You know, believe me, it's great. And it's easy to do. And you could do it at home very easily. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
I
Pierre.
really enjoy it.
And bon appétit.
Thank you very much.
Pierre donned a sports coat and made his way to the elegant dining room where dessert was being served. The two Pierres fondly recalled Jean Trois Gros, the brother and co-chef who had been so instrumental in forging the Trois Gros reputation before his death in 1983.
I know Jean, his brother, unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago, and he was a great chef too. You know, this family, it's amazing. It goes in generation. The father had a restaurant right here near the railroad station, you know, and his son, they continue the tradition.
La famille, la famille.
The family. This is really a family.
Même les gendres et les beaux-fils doivent être
So the
cuisinés.
son-in-law, what about tes petits-enfants?
Ah, bah j'espère, ils sont souvent dans la cuisine, ils tournent,
I'm asking about he's got grandchildren too.
on les mûrit. Là.
He said they're running around in the kitchen and they have a feel of the food, you know. C'est très important de
Ah oui, donner le feu sacré. Hein.
le feu sacré.
Nous sommes des enfants de la balle, comme ils disent.
Well, very good. So now we're going to have some dessert.
And what a choice of desserts. There was a country cherry tart, a chocolate mocha torte, and much, much more. Pierre opted for a variety of fresh and lightly poached fruit and berries, served with a raspberry coulis and a generous spoonful of thick, heavy cream.
Not
Voilà, là, aujourd'hui, je sais pas,
very special.
je sais pas quelle
I
inspiration
think he's
il a.
doing some kind of butterfly.
Vraiment, il fait un papillon, tu vois.
He's doing a butterfly.
Ouais, bah,
Ah, voilà. Oh, beautiful. Look
Et
at that.
alors, chaque client a son petit décor différent. Hein.
Everybody has a different design
Oui.
and different touch. Beautiful. Look at that.
Oui, des fois, on leur fait leur portrait même.
Oh, you do that? You like Picasso, huh?
Oui, non, Miro.
Miro. Oh, Miro. Okay, all right.
Inspired by the Trois Gros artistry, Pierre returned to the spectacular kitchen overlooking the garden for a recipe of his own.
I'm going to do a roast filet of beef with pepper, and it's going to be marinated with wine and herbs. Then I'm going to do it right now. The first thing you do, you put a little bit of salt on each side. This beef is from a Charolais beef. It weighs about, it's a filet of beef, it weighs about 1.25 pounds. I'm adding some cracked pepper on both sides, which you crush it. You could buy it already made, you know, I saw that done. I'm going to put that all around like this, and I'm going to put it over, and I'm going to press it around it. I want the crushed pepper to adhere to the meat, okay? To this, I'm going to add 2 cloves of garlic, the sprig of fresh rosemary, 2 bay leaves, a little bit of olive oil, about a tablespoon of olive oil. And I'm going to roll this together like this, press it. And to this, I'm going to add 1 cup of wine, Pinot Noir wine, which came right here from the vineyard of Monsieur Trois Gros. And 1 tablespoon of vinegar, red wine vinegar. And I'm going to add, to give a special flavor, some vodka, which are very hot, pepper vodka. It's kind of spicy, but it's going to give a very nice touch to the dish marinade. 2 tablespoons. We mix it well. We're going to cover that with plastic, and then you marinate it for about 30 minutes. I'm going to cook the meat. I have this grill, it's a Creuset grill, and you put that right in here on top of it. And this piece of filet, you got to leave it there for a while, but you have to turn it around, you know, to cook it. It's going to take about maybe 10 minutes to cook. And meanwhile, I got the marinade here. I got a little saucepan, and I'm going to make this marinade has to go back. I'm going to put that in a saucepan here with all the goodies here, and I'm going to reduce it more than half. Now the meat, I'm going to roll it. See, you turn it like this. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes. It depends on the thickness of the filet. This is a very good filet of beef. It's on Charolais. This one is very thick, so it may take a little longer. It depends. So this I have to reduce by more than half. This stove is very, very good. I wish I had a stove like this at home, believe me. It's a beautiful kitchen. Garden here, young chef cooking, smiling. Meanwhile, this is reducing. It's reduced the point I want it. I'm going to add about 1/3 cup of chicken broth. I'm going to bind this. I'm going to add, when it's reduced like this, about 1 teaspoon of tomato paste. That's all. Now, I want to wash my meat. All right, we turn it. And this, if a little too hot, you could move it around because this is cast iron. And the cast iron, you retain the heat and just move it around. Now, you see, this side is bigger here than here. This is, the filet goes step it on. So you got more heat here. It's going to require more cooking on that side than on this side here. All right. I want to make sure that the paste is blended well. See, I got everything in here. I got the thyme, the bay leaf, the garlic, It's reducing, but the tomato paste does, and the chicken broth gives flavor to it, and the tomato paste gives a little body to it. Okay, my meat is ready. Now I'm going to serve it. But what is very important, what you have to do, you have, see, this is very rare here right now, you have to let that meat rest in a warm place for about 15 minutes.
During that quarter hour, Pierre recruited an experienced set of hands to do the carving. Thanks to the hands-on approach, Trois Gros remains at the forefront of French cooking. The two Pierres, with some 100 years of experience between them, arrange the filet, mashed potatoes with carrots and chives in a fanciful fashion, as if they were still eager young apprentices. Of all France's celebrated three-star chefs, Pierre particularly admires Trois Gros, who has never forgotten that his place remains above all in the kitchen. Good steak demands good wine. Appropriately, not too far from Restaurant Trois Gros is Beaujolais country. Beaujolais was once considered an ordinary table wine, but in recent years its reputation has grown, and today it is judged as one of France's most enjoyable fruity wines. Unlike Grand Cru, harvested by hand, here the process is often mechanical. Productivity counts, and costs must be held down to keep the wine affordable. But some Beaujolais has an aristocratic touch. Pierre visited Brouilly, where his old friend, the Marquise Roussy du Sal, resides. Her chateau is a big house to handle all by herself, and she was thrilled to have Pierre stop by.
My dear Pierre, welcome here in the Château de la Chaise. As you know, you're in the area of Beaujolais, and this is on the Cru de Brouilly.
I'm very happy to be here because the Beaujolais Specialty Château de la Chaise is the greatest Beaujolais.
Well, as you know, this estate is the biggest because we have 97 hectares only in one lot, and you don't see many estates of this size. Let's talk about La Chaise. Why? This has been built by the brother of Father La Chaise, the confessor Louis XIV. Then after that, it stays always in the same family because Mademoiselle de La Chaise married a Montague, and through that it went to my grandmother, and I inherited from this estate. So let's say that this estate has always remained in the same family, and the chateau hasn't changed, and the furniture, so you can still find it as it was in the old days.
That's beautiful. What about this beautiful garden? You know, it looks so gorgeous.
Well, those gardens around here have been drawn by the famous Mr. Lenaud, the gardener of Versailles, you know, who drew all the gardens. And it's what you call a jardin à la française. So we managed to replant all those flowers that you can see here. There was nothing when I arrived about 20 years ago. The problem is that the soil is difficult for flowers, so we have to be very careful about what sort of plants we're putting.
This is mostly clay here.
Yes, the soil is in clay, and it's a very poor soil, and this is very important. This is why we're making such a wine, and this is a soil that suits very well our cépage, which is Gamay.
Gamay.
Yes, and this is very important for the quality of our wine of Brouilly.
Proud though she is of her formal gardens, the Marquise is even prouder of her equally manicured vineyards.
Beaujolais, you know, it's a huge area. It belongs to the south of Burgundy. And in there you have different crus. You have the Beaujolais village, and you have 10 crus, which are the top of this area.
Called Grand Cru.
Called Grand Cru, absolutely. And among all of them, this is Brouilly, where you are. So what's special in this area is first this whole area is planted only with Gamay.
Only Gamay, huh?
Unique, absolutely. The unique plant is Gamay. And here in this Cru du Beaujolais, what is special is the way these pieces have been clipped. So what's special is, as you can see there, it's the way it's been clipped in February, which is called in French la taille en gobelet. And then after that, you can see here that it's all tied up. The fact that it's tied up like this keeps the grapes, it provides them from the hail and of the sun.
They're protected.
Yes, they're protected and from the hail, and to when the sun is too strong. And by the way, it's clipped up. The top is clipped up after, because what we want is to keep all the strength for the leaves and for the grapes. That's very important for the quality.
Yes, like a shade over the grapes.
And the fact that you cut the vine this way, you don't make enormous rendement, you know, and it's very important.
The yield is not great.
The yield is not great, but it's important for the
quality.
Yes.
Is yes, very good.
Yes. So,
well, you know, America loves Beaujolais.
Yes.
As Pierre led the Marquise out of the vineyards and back to her chateau, he felt like a prince. For Pierre, the grandson of a blacksmith from northern Burgundy, the aristocratic life of southern Burgundy certainly held an undeniably seductive appeal.
The recipes from today's show and from the entire series are contained in the companion cookbook Pierre Franey's Cooking in France. To order, call the toll-free number on your screen. The 336-page volume, complete with color photos, contains over 150 easy-to-follow recipes. The price is $30 plus shipping and handling. Please have your credit card ready when you call 1-800-358-3000. Pierre Franey's Cooking in France was made possible by the Grand Marnier Foundation, proud to support public television, and by Carillon Importers Limited, importing beverages in the spirit of quality.